preserved by Mercedes. John Watson drove it at Hockenheim, a course he knows well, but not from the cockpit of a front-engined car.
It's strange to see corners so far away from the front wheels. That's my initial impression. I'm much more accustomed to being almost between the front wheels. Now I'm 8 feet back, and it's quite different, quite a different feel. It's obviously a car from a period of motor racing where the size of the tyres limit very much the amount of grip that you do have. So I believe that if you took this car, for example, and fitted a modern wheel and tyre and altered the suspension to suit, that in fact the road holding would be of a very high order indeed. Tyres and brakes are the great advance in motor racing in the last 30 years. And certainly, if you're driving the car today, when I put my foot in the brake, I wonder when they're going to start working. I haven't been using maximum revs because it's a very valuable piece of equipment, but at the point where I was lifting off, it was really beginning to go, and it would be interesting to see what would happen if you were able to, in fact, run it up to its limit, which eventually, I believe, was about 9,000 RPM. So remember, you've got the engine in front of you, and I noticed just in the few laps I was driving the car that the heat from the engine and the gearbox, which is virtually between my legs, the heat's soaking through, and with these overalls on, in those few laps I felt quite warm. So 3 hours or 3.5 hours around Monaco, I would have thought would have been pretty demanding of any driver. It's very difficult for a modern day driver to equate with what drivers were doing 30 odd years ago. It's an enormous difference between the modern day car and this particular vehicle. I think the strength the company had in its engineering department, its R&D department, enabled the company to build racing cars that were, first of all, competitive. They were competitive. But I think that other cars were competitive at that period also. What they didn't have, and what the Mercedes does have, is this fantastic inbuilt strength and reliability. It could be punished all day and still be there at the end.
Another